All right, guys, welcome back to Michigan Great Outdoors. I'm your host, Jason Ostrowski, aka the Pollock, and today I want to go over a specific rule change that's going to affect Michigan hunters into not this season, so not the 2024 season, but into 2025. It's near and dear to my heart because I have youths, and it's the youth season and the disabled veteran hunt in Michigan. So last week, I made a whole breakdown video of all the new rule changes coming from the NRC and the DNR. They've had a meeting on July 11th where they met with the DMI, which is the Deer Management Initiative Group, which is a bunch of people that got pulled together here in Michigan, normal sportsmen, and they gave recommendations to the NRC and the DNR, and they kind of hashed them out. So in that video, I go over the decisions that were made on July 11th, and those decisions, what I believe a lot of them were made already prior to that, because on June 3rd, which is where this report is dated, there is basically the DMI had made recommendations to the NRC and the DNR, and in this report the DMI has several things they listed, and then in some instances the Department of Natural Resources, they made their recommendations, and then the NRC were the ones that are actually deciding. Those are the bureaucrats, those are the people that are voted in by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. They make the decisions. So I had a whole video where I kind of went over all those topics, but today I want to focus on the Liberty Hunt and the Independence Hunt. So the Liberty Hunt is September 14th to 15th in 2024. It's a firearm deer hunt for youths and 100% disabled veterans. So a big change, not this year, so 2024 is going to remain the same, but in 2025, they're actually going to make it antlerless only. You know, there's been, in that original video I made with the whole list of all the changes, there's been a lot of people in the comments, and it seems like people are conflicted. It seems to me like some people are all for antlerless only in the youth season because, you know, there's always been this belief that maybe some fathers will actually shoot some of these big bucks for their kids. I've never seen any proof of it. Maybe one time there was one that was really sketchy that we saw, that little kid, he shot just a mega giant. Maybe he shot it, maybe he didn't. I don't want to speculate so much on that, but there's always been this stigma and this belief that, you know, are the kids really shooting these big bucks in early season, or are the fathers? And you know, so now in 2025 they're going to take that away. You're not going to be able to shoot a buck for if you're a youth or an apprentice or a mentored youth. So there's several different license stages you can get. My kids have been hunting under the mentored youth tag, which is like $750, very affordable. It's a great opportunity to get the youth involved. So, you know, my thinking on this is perhaps the DNR, they want to change the mindset of us hunters, and they want to not have us be so buck-centric and always targeting bucks, to try to understand that we need to target does, and maybe starting with the youth is going to help kind of change that mindset, because Michigan is a very buck-centric state. But I see in the comments people are really divided. There's people that are all for it, and then there's this other side of people that they're like, this is BS, you're taking away opportunities for the youth because, you know, you're a crappy hunter and you're just mad because, you know, the youths have the opportunity to shoot your big buck before season starts for everybody else. So it's kind of like there's this massive division, and you know, I'm interested in what you guys have to think on this specific rule. So if you could hop down in the comments, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is a good change going forward? Do you think that it's going to negatively impact sales for use? You know, I saw some people comment that they're not going to take their kids youth hunting because of it, because what's the joy in shooting a doe? And, you know, it's your right to do whatever you want, but I really think, you know, hunting is more than just the kill. It's about being out there in the woods, being out in nature, spending time with your family, seeing that beautiful sunrise as I'm witnessing right now. I think there's more to hunting than just the kill. And yeah, we're pushed probably to shoot these does because we need to do some better managing. We need to harvest more does because it's healthy for the herd. You know, our buck-doe ratio, and where I hunt zone 3, there's 10 does to the bucks. I mean, it's insane. You go hunting, you might see 1 or 2 bucks, and you're going to see at least 10 does almost every hunt. So it's an interesting update. what I did want to do is kind of read to you this report. So again, I don't know where I got this, but this is the actual report. So on item number 2, Commissioner Walters. So Commissioner Walters, he is on the NRC. He is one that was voted in, and these guys are people that make the decisions for us Michigan hunters. So Commissioner Walters, and the agenda was antlerless harvest only during Liberty and Independence Hunt. So I'm going to read this verbatim. So the Liberty and Independence hunts are special hunts that provide recreational opportunities for youth hunters and hunters with disabilities. During these hunts, an antlered or antlerless deer may be harvested. Commissioner Walters recommends that only antlerless deer may be harvested during the Liberty and Independence hunts. The department response. So I believe that's the DNR's response. There are approximately 20,000 youth hunters and hunters with disabilities that participate during the Liberty hunt, typically taking between 6,000 and 7,000 deer. It's really not that many deer. There are approximately 25 hunters with disabilities that participate during the Independence hunt, typically taking between 500 and 600 deer. So that is the disability hunters, 100% disabled hunters in the Independence hunt. The Independence hunt is October 17th through the 20th in 2024. So during that hunt, only 500 and 600 deer are taken. Remember that. The number of deer taken during these 2 hunts represent about 2% of the total harvest. So 2% of all the deer harvests in Michigan are these 2 hunts. With the declining trend in hunting numbers, these hunts provide training opportunities and chances for hunters to harvest a deer during less crowded hunting conditions. They also give hunters the opportunity to harvest a deer when weather is likely to be less challenging. It's warmer, it's not as cold, not as bitter, nasty November temperatures. The department has always maintained that youth mentors are more suited to assist youth in harvest decisions during the Liberty hunt than changing regulations. With no option to harvest an antler deer during these hunts, participation may decrease. So the commissioner says that he wants to change it to antlerless, and the DNR saying with no option to harvest an antler deer during these hunts, participation may decrease. So the DNR is already anticipating that if the rule change happens, tag sales could go down, participation could decrease. Preliminary results from the 2023 Michigan Deer Harvest Survey Report. So the survey report is what they mail to you and we fill out. Showed that 43% of respondents support restricting take during the Liberty hunt to antlerless only, while 33% oppose that option. So if I go back and look at this, the Commissioner Walters, he recommended antlerless only. The DNR, basically, in my take on what they're saying, is they're not recommending that because they see that the numbers could come down. And then the Michigan Deer Harvest Survey report showed that 43% of the people who filled out that report were in favor of antlerless only. So it seems to me that the NRC looked at what the people want from the report, and then they made their decision. It doesn't really say why this came up. It doesn't say, Commissioner Walters doesn't say in this report, his own beliefs. It's just kind of like a blanket statement. So those deer harvest surveys, apparently they're using them. They're reading them. They're looking at them, and that decision was made. So, I wanted you guys to remember that during the youth season, 20,000 youth hunters. So that's an important number. And they take between 6,000 and 7,000 deer. That's like nothing. That's a very minimal amounts of deer. So to take away the opportunity for them to hunt bucks, I don't necessarily think it's a great thing. I'm kind of like 50-50. It doesn't really matter to me because I'm not so much a youth, but I think about my kids that are hunting. I did ask my kids, I said, hey, what do you guys think about being able to only shoot does in deer season? And their response was, well, does are delicious. And I was like, hell yeah, they are. And that's the way that I've raised them and brought them up, that, all deer taste good. Yeah, we want to shoot a big old buck, but, if we get an opportunity to doe, we're going to take it too. That's the approach that I've taken with my kids. I do think that potentially this rule impact could, affect participation. And like I said, I think they should have probably just left it the way it is. I mean, it's 2 freaking days. I realize that some big bucks do get taken, but let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think this is a terrible rule update? Do you like it? Are you in favor? And maybe if you could put your zone that you hunt, if you hunt public or private land, leave that down in the comments. I've been learning a lot about what you guys think and what you're saying in these comments, and it's been educational for me as, you know, I start this whitetail discussion series and maybe try to get more involved with these actual people and see if I can have some sort of impact. So it's helpful for me to understand what other people are experiencing. I'm in zone 3, but I don't understand what somebody in Grayling is experiencing. Everything's different across the state. So I wanted to mention the disabled veterans. So according to this report, there are approximately 25 hunters with disabilities. So we have 25 hunters in Michigan with, you know, disabilities, and they're veterans. So now we've made it antlerless only from the vets. So people that served our country, people that maybe they got hurt in line of duty, they can only shoot a doe. Some of these people went to war. Some of these people are blind. I don't understand why you would do that to them. The only thing I can think of is maybe because the, you know, the Liberty Hunt includes the youth and the veterans with disabilities. Maybe they didn't want to intermingle the seasons because it could be confusing. I don't think that personally it would be confusing. I think Michigan regulations are confusing enough that the rule book's like 70 pages long. Why not let the veterans shoot a buck? I think that's disgusting that they took it away from them. Those people that served our country, we should be giving them, you know, basically almost free reign. And I say that with limits, but, you know, they should be given a lot more leeway, you know, especially veterans. So I think taking away the ability for them to shoot a buck, you know, some of these guys are in wheelchairs, they need assistance, you know, somebody has to go with them to help them. Not be able to shoot a buck is just stupid. And you can see, according to what I said, the numbers are like nothing. I mean, it's really, you know, they're gonna shoot between 500 and 600 deer. I mean, that's minuscule numbers. So why would you change it for them? Are they gonna have this big impact on the doe population? I think not. So that's all for this video. I will probably go through and break down a couple more of the more controversial rule changes. And like I said, I want you guys to get in the comments, leave your comment, say your situation. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you could leave me your county that you live in, public or private, and a brief history. It's helpful for me to kind of understand what's happening in the state. If you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. I will have some gear reviews coming next after this video, so don't worry, all you gear review guys, they are coming. I got some really cool stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.